Welcome to day 21 of Provision, Seeing, Receiving, and Resting. Today we start our rest journey in remembering that you don't have to worry about tomorrow. Our verse of the day comes from Matthew 6, verse 34, which says, "So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." One of the biggest barriers to rest is worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Jesus spoke directly to this tendency in Matthew 6:34. Now, he doesn't deny that tomorrow will bring its own challenges, but he gently redirects us to the truth, our attention back to the present moment. He says, stay here, stay with present, and trust me with today. Worrying about tomorrow often steals the strength that God provided for the day. It pulls our attention into imaginary outcomes, the potential problems that we work through, and uncertain futures that we're never meant to carry right now in this moment. In doing so, it actually quietly disconnects us from today's peace and today's provision that's already available that God provides. God's invitation is not to ignore responsibility, but to release the unnecessary burden of tomorrow. Tomorrow is very real, right? And we probably have bills due tomorrow, and conversations to have tomorrow, and etc., things to do tomorrow. But none of this is for us to carry today. Right? When the time comes, God will be there in the moment with the provision that we need for that moment, just like he's been faithful before. So reference your provision tracker and your evidence list. Remind yourself of all the times that God's been faithful, especially when you start worrying about tomorrow. Now, rest begins when we stop worrying and stop trying to live in time frames that we're never meant to hold. We're not required to solve future problems with today's strength, today's peace, today's clarity. You're only called to walk with God today, and whatever that means today. So when you release tomorrow, you discover that today is already filled with enough grace, grace to get through everything, enough strength to get through everything, and enough provision to sustain you through the day. And if you don't have it, you don't need it yet, right? So remember that God's mercies are new every morning. That's from Lamentations 3, verses 22 to 23. So you can trust that every kind of provision is given fresh daily, just like his mercies. So let's take a moment to remember. Grab your journals if you want to write it down as well. But think about times when you worried about something that never unfolded the way you feared. I'm guilty of this. I have a wild imagination. It can run off into a million different directions, planning things that will never happen in my life. Maybe you spent energy imagining outcomes that will never happen or never happened in your past, the way they unfolded. Maybe you spent energy carrying anxiety for situations that resolved differently than you expected, that God took care of. And as you reflect, notice how often worry consumed energy that could have been used for your present peace in the moment. It's a habit. I call it a bad habit to imagine so many outcomes and potential situations and, work what your thoughts and responses and your actions, everything in response to those. And 99.9% of them will never happen. So reel your energy back in, your attention, and just focus on today, trusting God daily with daily provision. And if you like a further practice for the day, let's practice returning to the present moment. Whenever your mind begins to drift into the future, gently pause and pray this out loud. Say, "God, I give you tomorrow. Help me trust you today." Then intentionally bring your attention back to what is in front of you. What needs your attention right now? What needs your presence right now? Throughout the day, notice moments when you are tempted to carry future outcomes in your thoughts. Each time, practice releasing them back to God. And this evening, write down at least 5 moments where you caught yourself worrying about tomorrow and chose to return to today. The goal is to strengthen rest by releasing unnecessary mental burdens. So can you trust daily as your daily walk with God? I'm not saying it's easy. I've been freaking out a lot too. The Lord's been teaching me trust, daily trust. He's always been providing for me and always will, and I know that, but walking it out is a different story. So take it easy on yourself, give yourself grace as you're learning to trust God daily in the present moment with provision for everything you need. Maybe not everything you want, but everything you need will be given to you. And if you like positive affirmations like I do, here are a few provision declarations to anchor in today's truth. Just repeat these to yourself as often as you need to. You can say, I do not have to carry tomorrow today. God is already present in my future, just as he is in my present. Worry does not add to my life, but trust brings peace. And today I choose rest over anxiety and presence over fear. Remind yourself that your Father is good, and he is your provider, and he will provide for your needs as he promised. Stop worrying about tomorrow. I know it's a practice, it's a habit, but the more you practice bringing your attention back to the present moment, reminding yourself to trust God in the present moment, it will get easier as you walk. I still go through it, but it's a lot less freakouts than it was like 6 months ago practicing this. So it will hopefully dissolve eventually all the way, but honestly, it's not there yet because we're human. We're going to freak out when we don't see it. But God's been faithful to take me on a journey of learning to trust him every day in the present moment, and he's been faithful. So grab your provision tracker, write down all the evidence to remind yourself that he is present with you and providing for you in every moment. I'll see you tomorrow in another provision exercise. The last of the 10 days here is going to be all about resting in God's truth, resting in his provision. I love you.